Do you like what Korea's doing with movies?
Well, yeah. I mean, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance was what made me want to make Hostel. I saw that by myself at a screening at the Sitges Film Festival at 2:00 in the afternoon when I was there with Cabin Fever, and my jaw was on the ground. I was like, this is the best film I've seen in years and one of the best movies in my lifetime, and nobody's in the fucking theater. And I actually sent a tape of it around to like Quentin before he went to Cannes to be a judge. I'm like, I think Park Chan-wook is the best director in the world right now. And then Harry Knowles got a 35 print of Old Boy before it even had titles on it, before Miramax bought it, and we screened it at his all-night movie-thon. So I had seen an early screening of Old Boy, and then I wound up writing Director Park's immigration letter. Like there was a screening of Sympathy for Mr.
Wow.
Like the Korean Society at USC, the Korean so they found out that I was like a fan of his, and they're like, would you host a screening of Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance with Director Park? He's coming to town. So I like drove down to USC with these students with like me and him. There's photos of us from like 2004.
Oh my!
Hosting. So I was like very onto Korean cinema, and I talked about it in all. Here's what's interesting. I talked about Korean cinema for all my press for Hostel, and then people started coming up to me going, "Have you seen the Squid Game? Have you seen Squid Game?" And everyone's like, "There's a lot of similar stuff in Squid Game." So I watched it, and I of course loved it. But there's the business card, there's the rich people paying. There's a lot of themes, and I met the creator, director Dong, and I talked to him, and he was just like, "You don't understand." He's like, when I was writing Squid Game, all I was watching was Hostel and Hostel 2. Wow. I was like, and I'm with like, Hyun, like the cast, he's like, everyone. Eli's like, this is what inspired Squid Game. I'm like, no, you understand. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is what inspired Hostel. Whoa. So the fact that it went full circle with Korean cinema, that I was so inspired to make Hostel, and then he was so inspired by Hostel to make Squid Game. It's like we're all dealing with we're all like very interested in similar themes of power and people that are so wealthy they're bored, and violence as entertainment, and people that are so numb that they have to do something violent to stimulate. So it was amazing. It was an amazing moment to meet them and have that like connection of cinema coming full circle. That's the beauty of art in any language, and the genre cinema is that it does translate. There's certain things that are universal.
Do you pinch yourself?
Well, not.
No, but sometimes you look
Zoom.
At your life and go, "Wow."
I do. I really do. I look at like I watched the print of Thanksgiving this morning. I checked it, and I sat there and like my friend Jeff and I have had this idea since we were 13 or 12, growing up in Boston with every slasher holiday, with Silent Night, Deadly Night, Halloween 2, 3, 4, April Fool's Day, My Bloody Valentine, everything had a holiday. Mother's Day. We were like, when are they doing Thanksgiving? There's the think tank, pull a lever and it comes out.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need Thanksgiving. That's the one that's like non-religious. It applies to everybody. And you could have like a killer, like someone, is in love with a turkey and then they chop turkey's head off. We had all kinds of different ideas of what this movie should be. And then it was, Grindhouse. Quentin was like, "Hey, do you want to do a fake trailer for Grindhouse?" So we did. I was like, "I already got the movie. It's already written. Thanksgiving." So we just basically came up with Crazy Kills, which was a human at a parade in a turkey costume gets decapitated and then stumbles around like a chicken with their head cut off.
Wow.
Turkey with their head cut off. So, and then it's someone being roasted as a human turkey. Like all these things, but that was a joke. But imagine being 12 and 13 years old and sitting there going, okay, think of this. If they made Thanksgiving, you could take someone, roast them like a turkey, and then put the little chef's hats on their toes. And then there we were as like adults going like, no, the chef's hats have to have a little more curly. I want this. Wow. And we're like doing it with Adrienne Moreau, who won the Oscar for The Whale for makeup. Wow. It does this beautiful body that's like everyone else is so repulsed by. I'm like, this is a work of art. This should be in a museum, and it's got like he did like he really well, I don't want to give it away, but there's great stuff. So there is a thing where I was watching it this morning, and I called Jeff after. I was emotional. I was like, I can't believe there's billboards. I'm like, we did it. Like our childhood dream. If we never accomplish anything else in our lives, we fucking did it. We got the Thanksgiving horror movie. So you can have that calendar. You can just check that month off. So you don't have to wait till December. You can go October, November. You get a horror film, and December there'll be Santa slasher movies. Yeah. We didn't want to go a month. November sucked because there weren't going to be any new horror movies. Halloween was over. You had to wait till Christmas, but now we filled that gap. I want the fucking November. Wow. I was like, I want horror movies in November.
Yeah,
and I want a Thanksgiving.
Is there Easter one?
I want to do an Easter one.
Okay,
I could basically just make holiday horror for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
but yeah, not mainstream yet. But that's my goal.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
So yeah, I do pinch myself a lot all the time. I'm like, I can't believe it. And you know what? it's great. I think the pandemic really rattled all of us in so many ways. We're just like, okay, if we never let out of our houses, if we're let out of our houses again, and if this thing gets worse, what's going to happen? It made everyone really just clean shit out, get rid of your B projects, only focus on your A project. And I thought, maybe, I don't know what's going to happen. This is it. The next movie I have to make has to be Thanksgiving, because that might be the last film I ever get to do.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
Wow.
So and I think that's the way you got to approach every movie, really. Like, if I never do anything else, this is the one.
I'll tell you, Eli, having you here, this is like mesmerizing, because I don't get I've only had a couple directors. I've had Judd and Jordan, but because I love film, and I really love you as a human being.
I love you too, Bob.
And is there anything else you want to plug?
I mean,